If you're an SMMA owner like me, there are days where you're like, I'm really stressed and why am I doing this? There are days where you literally just go, I'm ready to throw this all in. I'm ready to give this up and go back to what I was doing before. And we all have them, including myself. I've been running my agency for 8.5 years now, and I had one of those days today. And that's why I'm making this video today. So there's a lot of reasons that can cause this stress. Could be cash flow, or more likely, it's that you've had a client that's either told you you're not doing a good job or a client that's left. And that's what's happened to me today. But it wasn't from the agency. I'm just used to the client naturally churning through the agency. Today, I genuinely feel like I'm an imposter. Even after almost a decade of doing this, I still get those days where I feel like an imposter and I don't belong in this space. And I had one of those days today. So for some of you may have known that I've been putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into a program I'm making, which is designed to help agency owners. And today I had someone come to me and say, I'm pausing what I'm doing because I'm not getting enough value from it. And that was like a knife through my heart. I've been working at this pretty much non-stop for 1.5 months. And even though I know there was no malicious intent on his end, it just brought up those feelings that, do I really belong in this space? Am I really equipped to be able to do this job? And I'm sure there's a heap of you out there that feel the same, that are only just getting into this space and had a client leave or had a client tell you you're not doing a good enough job, and you get that sinking feeling in your heart going, is this all worth it? Is this stress that I'm putting myself under all worth it? And I just want to share with you a few strategies that I do to manage that, because without those strategies, you can head down into a very, very crazy spiral and do some weird and wacky things that you may regret for the rest of your life. So the thing is with stress, especially stress that's caused from external factors like lack of cash or clients leaving you and feeling inadequate because of that. The thing with that stress is that it can really play tricks on your mind. It feels like the world is closing in around you, and it becomes this not being able to see the forest through the trees perspective. Because it feels like the world's collapsing around you. When you have a client that's not happy and you've committed to something and you actually care and you're not getting those results or they're leaving you because of that, it feels like the world's closing in around you. And it doesn't matter how much someone else around you is telling you that it's going to be okay, or how much motivation you get from a YouTube video, it doesn't make those feelings go away. And to this day, those feelings are still there with me. Those feelings are still there every time a client leaves. I think to myself, am I an imposter? Do I belong in this space? Am I really providing enough value for the money I charge? Those feelings don't go away. So that's the first thing I want to say to you, is that it's completely normal to feel the way you're feeling. If someone decides to leave, or there's days where you don't have enough cash to be able to pay yourself or get the job done. It's completely okay to feel like that. And sometimes the answer isn't people patting you on the back telling you it's okay. And we get that a lot in this space because there's a lot of people that really genuinely care about you. They want to see you succeed, whether they're your competitors or not. If you post in a group that you're in and you say that you're struggling, you're going to get a whole bunch of people that care about you and care about your feelings and really do want the best for you. But sometimes that's not what you need. Some days you just need to get a bit of perspective. So one of the things I really like to do when I'm feeling this way is I like to just get out, disconnect from the technology and get out and try and get some more perspective. So for me, that's coming up to a really high vantage point and just looking out into the distance, not thinking about anything, not thinking about anyone, just looking at the world around me, trying to clear my thoughts, trying to focus on the lives that people are living around me. Now for you, that might be going for a walk down the park. That might be going for a long swim. That might be going on a hike. But you need time in your own mind to process what's going on. Now, sometimes looking out into the horizon or going for a walk doesn't help. And that's okay. It's not supposed to be a cure. It's just the first step. I find that doing it regardless helps to center yourself and clear what's going on in your head so you can start to reflect critically on the situation as opposed to reflect with emotion. So if on the days where I'm thinking that running an agency isn't for me, or I'm stressed out, or I've had bad news like what's happened today, or I'm running low on cash, I just think about why I started this agency in the first place and what my goal was when I started. You know, when I signed up to run my agency, I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. And at the time when I first started it, I said, I'm ready to tackle anything that's going to come my way because of my pig-headedness probably, but I said I was going to tackle anything my way. It's only until you get hit in the face a few times that you realize whether you actually want to do this or not. And so there are days when I don't feel like running an agency anymore, or whether this course is worth it, or whether what I'm doing now is worth it. And I just go back to when I first started this agency, and I think about how shit my life was and how little I enjoyed life. And I think about the reasons I started this agency and whether the not spending time with my family or not spending time with my kids and doing a job I actually absolutely hated was worse than how I'm feeling right now, which is someone's upset with me. And getting that perspective makes a massive difference a lot of the time because it's so easy to forget when you're trying to look for the forest through the trees. So I go back and I think about the days when I worked at Boken Machinery, being in a job that pulled me away from my family, and my boys were growing up without me, and I was spending no time with them. And I think about that. And then it makes days like this just that little bit less significant. And I go, I would much rather have a client that's unhappy with me and feel like an imposter than me slowly dying inside doing something that I didn't enjoy or I didn't want to do. And all of you would have that. All of you would have a reason you started this agency in the first place. Now, we may all have different reasons, but that reason was big enough for you to take massive action, which was starting the agency in the first place. And I assure you that if you go back and reflect on why you started the agency in the first place, you're going to reflect on the situation you're in right now and go, it's not as bad as that. It's not as bad as doing a job that I dislike. It's not as bad as being at school and being bullied. It's not as bad as always feeling like someone that's different. And now I feel like I belong to a bigger thing. I belong to a community that actually cares about me. It's not as bad as that. Then I slowly start to feel less concerned about whether I'm an imposter. And I start to think that the only way I'm going to prove to the world I'm not is by getting the job done. And that's how I get over this feeling of being inadequate, not feeling like I should be in this space. I center myself, look over the world, and then I just reflect on why I started doing this in the first place and get back to what I said I was going to do, which is build a business that supports my family. And for you, that might be build a business so you don't have to work for someone for the rest of your life. Whatever that goal is for you. And then you just start to feel a little bit better. Now, it's not going to make the feelings go away. This isn't some motivational cure. It's just what I do to help when I don't feel like I belong in this space and I feel like I'm an imposter. Because it's completely, like I said, it's completely okay to feel like an imposter. Everyone does it. It doesn't matter what size you are. But the only way you're going to show the world that you're not an imposter, the only way you're going to show this client who left you that you really do belong in this space and you really do good work is by shaking it off, remembering why you got started in the first place, and just get it done.